Hi, I'm John Westman. I'm the project engineer for the Pettibone Traverse Extendo product line, and here to walk around and show you what some of the new features that we have. So one of the main things that we did is our cab is completely different from our legacy machine. It has gotten rid of the curved glass that we used to have in here. It is now all flat glass that is bolted in. We got rid of our plastic dash. It's a steel dash. Wash down ready. All of our components in here are wash down rated. So in fact, a lot of these can actually sit under a foot of snow. Two-piece door design. Door window locks in place. Closes. Nice ceiling surface. It's a nice B-pillar, so rain, mud, debris will not enter. In here is our main control valve assembly. That was in between our pillars for our boom. That has moved over here for serviceability purposes and hose routing efficiencies. Another thing that's really different is our rear stabe and our front sway cylinders. They're trunnion style now, which is different from our legacy as well. It gives us a little bit more efficiency and a little bit better power to control the sway and rear stabe circuit on our machine. A huge upgrade for us is our hydraulic tank. Before, we had a dirt box designed hydraulic tank, which was really good, very efficient, very clean. However, it did not give you a true indication of how much hydraulic fluid was in the machine. In order to do that, you had to crack the fill line and let it stabilize. What you see now is what you have. So there's no additional cracking of the line. We removed the filter that was on top of here. This is now a filler breather cap for the hydraulic system. One of the major changes that we have is for our return line. This is a return filter. This is a filter that, as you can see, is under hydraulic load. So basically the fluid is on here. I can take this filter out and just have the residual oil in the filter. There's a little flap in here that closes, or is closed. So I can take this out, service it, put it back in without having to drain my tank. Counterweight is much smaller than our legacy machine. It's standard across our platforms. So the T model and the fixed boom model have the same rear counterweight. We also have some internal counterweighting in the frame itself. Fixed boom is really lightweight. In fact, we took out of our fixed boom machine, we've taken about 3,000 pounds out of the entire system on a base machine to base machine. The other thing with the boom itself is it's high strength steel, very thin. Our cross section on our boom is only 3/16 of an inch thick, and that's for all three cross sections. So our boom height increased. All three are stacked inside, and it allows us to have a longer overlap, which is a great benefit because it allows us to have more load and more stable load with less stress in the boom itself. Also, our wear pad life is greatly increased by doing that. Wear pads in the boom itself are floating. So there's no shimming, there's just a simple retention system to keep them on the ends of the boom sections, and they float with the boom. So if there's any variance in the boom, they'll just float with it. We have a single lift cylinder instead of our dual lift cylinder system. What we did was we increased our pressure, hydraulic system pressure, and really maximize the design and the fluid volume of and geometry of the cylinders in order to keep the machine as lightweight as possible, but as strong as possible. Standard power system as our legacy with 3.8 Cummins. Our extend cylinder is no longer buried internal to the boom. Our extend cylinder is now mounted underneath, and there are significant advantages by doing that. Basically, by mounting it underneath, we reduce the load on the boom and the wear pads by 50%. This is our traversing style unit. What this does is it allows the carriage to move forward and backwards 70 inches, allows you to place a load at the rated lift height. So as a 44-foot boom on a fixed, you actually lose about 3 feet of height by having to drop the load and then work your forks back without moving the machine. This is a true 44-foot landing height. In order to commonize the machine, the fixed and traverse as much as possible, when we went to a Tier 4 engine, the Tier 4 engine was just simply too wide to fit in between our rails of our frame on a team machine. It's just physically too big. So it kind of forced us into going to a side pod design. Instead of having 2 different designs, we standardized on having the side pod on the T and the fixed frame in order to maximize commonality between the designs. Our designs have approximately 80 to 90% common components. Really, the only difference is the top plate on the frame back there and then the sliding carriage.